Hi guys, this is Lalana. Thanks for tuning into the Sovereign Path. So today we're going to talk about the truth of the Twin Flame Path. I've done a few other videos around this. My dogs are in here. So the truth of the Twin Flame Path, what is that, right? It's not what we think it is. It's not what most sort of, bandwagon jump on the stereotypical, this is a twin flame kind of romantic thing. That's not what this path is. It can lead to romantic partnership if that's what you choose, if that's what's in your highest good and what's in your highest alignment. But that is not the purpose of this path. And I feel the need to continue to make videos like this because, I get a lot of comments, especially on my other social media outlets, about people being in so much pain, and this is the reason, right? This is the reason that people who are on this path feel that they're in a lot of pain, is because they are looking at the twin flame and the twin flame path as the end all be all, right? The greatest romantic partner ever. Like, the reason that I'm incarnate here on this earth is to be with this person. And we have a lot of shit out there that's like definitely pushing, this belief, this idea. And it's easy for the ego to get attached to that. It's easy for the emotional body to get attached to that. It's easy for the thoughts to really like that idea, and then to not want to release that idea, because then at some point it becomes a belief. So the Twin Flame Path is about your awakening. That's it. They are here, and I need to stop saying they. This is you. This is your soul awakening you out of that attachment that is telling you that you need to be in romantic partnership with them. This is a paradoxical path. This is maybe the most paradoxical path. Maybe the most. I don't know. But it's highly, highly paradoxical. Because in the outer world, right, in the physical, it's showing you, hey, there's your person. That's who you need to go after. That's the reason that you met them, right? They triggered your awakening. And so that means that this is my greatest romantic partner, and this is the reason that they're here, and this is why we incarnated together, and this is, right? The mind runs with that. It sprints off with that as fast as it can go, creating stories and loops and all sorts of things within the mind. And those become beliefs, right? We get attached to that idea. And then, just like I said the other day when I made a video, we forget about the awakening, right? We forget, or potentially people don't know that that's what this is. That's the purpose of your soul awakening you out of the illusion, out of the dream, and out of the attachments that are keeping you running a program that is creating your suffering, right? It's the thought, and it's the story that we tell, and it's the attachment to that story, and then it's the identification of self, I am a twin flame, that keeps us in a state of suffering. It keeps us in a state of polarization and duality and separation. It literally keeps us there. And that's why it's so paradoxical, because what's actually happening with the twin coming into the life to awaken you is to break you free from all of those other things. I've talked about this so much on this channel. It's to break you free from all of those things. It's to break you free from the stories, right? Break you free from the story, break you free from the illusion, break you free from the dream, you know, from the mind, from the thoughts, from the chatter, from all of these identifications, from the attachments that if I don't have this, then I'm not going to be okay, right? And just like I said in the video I made before this one that's talking about reflection, we do this with everything, right? This is part of the human condition. That's not good or bad or right or wrong, but if your awakening, right? If your awakening has been triggered, then that means your ascension has begun. And that means the breaking down of the illusion and the dream and the duality that we have been experiencing throughout however many lifetimes we've been coming here on earth, right? And so when we get so tied up in thinking that the twin flame, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, is the end all be all and all of these sort of things, and I have to be with them, and that's why they're here, and I'm going round and round and round and round, and I was guilty too, guys, so I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I was guilty of this too, going round and round and round, because, you know, the thoughts want to believe that. The ego wants to believe that. That shit feels good. It feels good, right? The dopamine rush, the serotonin rush, the oxytocin, it feels good. But just like when you start dating somebody and it feels really good for the first couple of months, and then the real relationship hits, and then it's just like, oh, well, and then the anxiety starts coming back, right? The thoughts start coming back. That love phase ends, and the truth of something begins, right? The wounds start coming up, the illusions start coming up, the falsities start coming up. All of these things that we still believe in and haven't dealt with start coming up, regardless if it's a twin or regardless if it's anybody else that you might want to date, right? The thing is that on the twin flame path, we get so attached to it in a way that we didn't get attached to other relationships, because there's a belief system surrounding twin flames that is saying, this is your person. This is your person. This is your same soul. This is why you're incarnate. This is the purpose of this. And it's not. The purpose is your awakening. Being in romantic partnership with your divine masculine, who is you. So it's also just being in partnership with yourself, as I said, can be the icing on the cake. You know, when you come into inner union, some divine feminines choose that, some don't. It is not a given on this path. There is a choice point on this path that you will come to once you get to that inner union, right? Awakening is the purpose. Ascension is the purpose. Coming back into the awareness that I am God, source, creation, all that is the purpose. And releasing all the attachments that are saying, I have to have this, 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 and this in order to make me feel good, in order to make me feel whole, to make me feel complete. And now I have this like Messiah of my divine masculine who's come into my life. That's how a lot of people see this. I have put this incredible person on this pedestal, and I have to attain them. And I'm going to do anything I can to attain that. Nothing could keep you further away from that than the sentence that I just said. It's not about attaining. You are already that. You are already love. You are already oneness. You are already non-separate. You are already not duality. And the twin is just reflecting that back to you. They're reflecting back to you your beauty and your light and your consciousness and your shadow and your illusion and your dream. Why? Because that's a reflection of you. That is a reflection of you. But the ego mind and the programs and the stories, they start just going off in la la land, an imaginatory place, and creating all of these things. This is why we have to neutralize and balance the energy. What energy are we balancing and neutralizing on this path? Your own. Your own, right? You are balancing your own energy within, right? So we kind of get like misled or misunderstood when we're saying that I have to balance myself and my divine masculine, as if my divine masculine is somewhere else, right? As if my divine masculine is not me, right? It's balancing the energy within. It's coming out of duality and into non-duality or oneness within. And so the more that we're putting the masculine or anything on a pedestal and saying, I have to attain that in order to feel good again, in order to, like, you know, a lot of times we fall down this rabbit hole of saying, like, as soon as I am in physical union with my twin flame, then that's going to prove to me that I am actually a twin flame. And so we're using that, and this, you know, unconsciously a lot of times, we're using that in a place that's saying, as soon as I have physical proof, physical representation and proof that I am in physical union with my twin flame, then that will validate that I'm actually on this path, that I'm actually a twin flame. We get this thing really just racked up in the mind, really racked up in the mind. Physical union does not prove that you are in inner union with self. Don't care what anybody says. It doesn't. Physical union is not proof that you have come back into remembrance that you are God's source creation, all that is, and that you are vibrating from that place in the fifth dimensional frequency. It doesn't, right? The only aim here, which I don't like to use those words, if anybody's been watching my channel for a while, I don't like the words aim and goal and, you know, end game and all of those sort of things, because they're implying that there's something that I have to achieve. There is somewhere I have to get. There's somewhere that I have to get. There's something that I have to do in order to have X, Y, and Z and all those sorts of things. All of that's duality. All of that is coming from the mind. All of it is. When you come back into union with self, it dissolves. These things dissolve. They start to just fall away on their own. That's what the awakening process does. And I'm going to keep saying that over and over again. That's what the awakening process does. And that's why I say things like, if you think that you are a twin flame and you think that you're on this path, but you're not experiencing a spiritual awakening, then you're not on a twin flame path. Because that's the whole reason that this whole thing showed up to begin with, right? The twin flame is you. The twin flame is you. And I know that that sounds crazy. I know. To a lot of people, it sounds absolutely crazy. The mind can't begin to understand that. But the soul is limitless, right? We are multidimensional. We can do whatever we want. We can incarnate as many times as we want, over and over and over again. The soul is just experiencing itself in a myriad of ways for its own growth, for its own expansion. This is just another way that the soul is experiencing self. And the soul is waking itself up to come out of the illusion and out of the dream. And coming out of the illusion and coming out of the dream is also the remembrance that I don't need to chase anyone outside of me, and that nothing outside of me is going to complete me. But as soon as I remember that and come back within and feel complete within and remember that I am God's source creation, all that is, then guess what? It just shows up, right? That's when the timeline jumps. That's when the timeline shifts, because you're no longer running separation. You're not in it anymore. It's not your program anymore. The program has deleted, it's broken. You're running like a 2008 Mac, and you've just upgraded to the 2025 model. They don't run off the same timeline. They're not the same energy. They're not aligned. They're not in the same frequency. They don't vibrate at the same place, right? So once you get to that higher vibration, which is love, which is abundance, what are you attracting? What are you seeing in your external reality at that point? Love and abundance and peace and oneness. It doesn't mean that things don't come up. It just means that you're not reacting to them in the way that you were reacting to them when you were running all of these separation programs. That's what it means. And it means that you as self, your other self, your same self, it's not other, there is no other, is here, right? Because you're back in oneness. So you're no longer separating the self from the self. You have come into balance. This is what it is. This is what balance is. This is what neutralizing the energy is. It's what's breaking out of duality is. It's coming back into remembrance and coming back into oneness. This is why I always talk about the awakening process and how it is the pinch point to this path. You can't circumvent it. You can't go around it. You can't try to navigate your way in some other direction and think that you're on a twin flame path if you're not experiencing these things. This is the path. This is it. In all of its splendor and glory and all of the stuff, this is it. Even in all of the times that you're feeling like hell. It's it. It's those part of you, those identifications of you that the ego death breaks away. Yeah. But it's pushing you, it's basically pushing your light up, right? Your light has been dimmed in the 3D, and that's fine. But now the veil is being peeled back layer by layer, and more of your light is coming online. The more that your light comes online, the higher you vibrate, the higher your frequency, the more your thoughts aren't controlling your mind, the more you're not moving from separation and duality, the more you're moving into unity, you're coming back into oneness. Once you're back into oneness, it just shows up. It just shows up. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope that resonates. You guys have an awesome day.